So hi, Raghvendra. First of all, many congratulations on great success, something that a lot of students look forward to, right? So I think from the very outset, if you could tell us and the audience something about you and your journey, it would be great.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you to the team of Sleepy Classes for having me here. And I'm Raghvendra Sharma. I turned 24 today. In fact, it's my birthday.
Oh, a very
So
happy birthday
yeah,
to you also then.
thank you so much.
UPSC has given you a great gift.
The best birthday ever. So today I turned 24, and I was born and brought up in Delhi itself. Originally, I am from Uttar Pradesh, Prayagraj, and my father. I come from a very middle class family. My father runs a chemist store in the area, and I started preparing for civil services 3 years back, and this was my second attempt. I reached till the interview stage in the last attempt, but I missed by a few marks, and this time I got all India rank 340.
That is great. So Raghvendra, when is it that you decided that this is something that I want to do? Given that you're so young, that means at 23, right? You'd already given an interview and then cleared your second interview to get through the UPSC. So what is it that motivated you? Because, apart from all the hard work, a lot of motivation, a lot of drive is needed because this is not an easy journey.
That's very true. And actually, I decided to pursue this as a career option because I come from Uttar Pradesh, right? So in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, everyone knows that in a middle class family, it's always a dream to have an IS or PCS in your family. So this is where the idea of joining the civil services came from. My parents, my grandparents. I was good at I was good at studies, so they would often suggest me that you should try for the civil services. So I didn't understand what is IAS back then, but as I grew up and I had this idea at the back of my head as a career option, and then I learned about it. And one particularly inspiring incident for me was reading about Mr. Armstrong Pame. He's an IS officer from Manipur, and I remember I was in 10th standard when I read about him on Facebook. He had built People's Road, 100 kilometers road. So at that point of time, I realized that this is one service, this is one job where you have such a huge impact. So you have the opportunity to bring a direct influence in the lives of the people. So that is, I think, the point when the resolve to become a civil servant was, it became very clear to me. And apart from that, I think with motivation, obviously the motivation was seeing my own co-aspirants clearing this exam. So last year also, I knew 3 people who got in top 100. So there's always this motivation that if they could do it, I can do it too. And apart from that, I think your motivation will come from your own preparation, right? So if you're toiling in day and night, then you do have this belief that I'll do it. I'm giving my best and I'll do it. And apart from that, with motivation, discipline. So when you have your daily plan charted out, and when you wake up, you know that okay, 7 to 9 I have to do this, 9 to 11 I have to do this, 11 to 2 I have to do this. So it just becomes I think automatic that you start studying every day with the same timetable and you get in the flow. So motivation and discipline both, I think.
Right. And those are, I think, very, very wise words: motivation and discipline. The recipe for success lies there. If you could also, because there's a lot of questions that students have, that how does, say, your education background help you or not help you, or is not that relevant when it comes to UPSC? We try to advise them a lot, but I think coming from successful aspirants, it becomes even more relevant, that advice.
Right. So I'll just tell about myself. I have no achievement in my name till now, right? So clearing UPSC is the first exam that I have really cleared. Before this, I did not sit for JEE or NEET because I was clear that I'll pursue. So I'll pursue civil services. So this is my only achievement. I have done my graduation in economics honors from a relatively lesser known college, that is Shivaji College of Delhi University. Very few people know about it. So I believe where you come from, what you have studied, doesn't matter really. And if you're motivated enough, if you are disciplined enough, no matter your background, you can do it. I have seen so many people from very diverse backgrounds clear this exam. I think this is a great leveler. UPSC is a great leveler. So I just suggest anyone watching this that no matter where you come from, no matter what your past achievements have been, don't worry about those things. Just give in your best 2 or 3 years to this examination, and you will see wonders happening.
Right. I think very, very wise words there when you said this is a great leveler. And I think that is also the beauty of this entire country. If it's helping you give those opportunities and second chances, that no matter what, here you can come, prove yourself, and get through this exam. So now you tell me, I mean, being a part of Delhi University itself is also a great achievement, right? So now you had economics honors, whereas your optional was political science. Why the switch from
Right.
economics to political science?
Actually, I was always torn between these two subjects. So I like economics, I like political science as well. And in college, the thing was that I chose economics honors for my graduation subject because I had economics in my 12th standard. So as per the choice-based credit system of Delhi University, if you take a subject in your graduation which you haven't studied, then your 2.5% of your marks are deducted, and
Right.
then it is calculated as your total. So I was not getting political science in any good college, so I
Mhm.
had to stick to economics honors because I equally liked both the subjects. But after graduating in this subject, I realized that now is the time to explore political science more. And I also had political science as my generic elective subject in my
Okay.
college. So I did study 4 papers of political science even during my college. And after this, I mean, after the college, I felt that I have to pursue this more. And apart from that, I think political science subject has a few positives as well, and that is the great overlap with your GS2, right? I mean, in every GS you can find some application of your political science paper. Even in GS4 you can find, right, you can use your various political thinkers in your answers in GS4 also. Similarly
Absolutely.
goes
And
for
I
GS.
feel this time around, even an essay for that matter, the kind of
Exactly, essay,
philosophical
right?
bent that it's coming, political science, especially paper one ka part, it must have helped you a lot.
Definitely, definitely. It always helps you. I mean, in both my attempts in essay papers, I have used thinkers like Plato, Aristotle, etc. So I think it helps you there. So these were the two important factors that made me choose political science for my options.
Right. Along with political science, I mean, there is also a lot of questions that arise. It's such a dynamic subject. इतना बड़ा optional है. Syllabus देखते ही बच्चों को syllabus ही नहीं याद होता. And that really, makes them very hesitant towards choosing this optional. So they'll be like, let's choose a more say static optional. कि history ले लेते हैं, anthropology ले लेते हैं, or let's take say a relatively shorter optional, maybe say sociology. So what do you think? One very, very important part that you said was that it has considerable overlap with general studies. But how do you cope up with the dynamism of the subject of this optional as well?
Uh, so yeah, it's true that it's pretty wide, right? The coverage of the political science optional is pretty wide. For example, if you look at the Western political thought section, which is 1/10 of the one part of your paper, right? It has so many Western thinkers like Plato, Aristotle, Machiavelli, Hobbes, etc. And these are thinkers which you can do PhD in itself, right? So it becomes wide. But one thing I believe is that you have to understand that the area that UPSC covers is not that wide. So in Plato, if you look at the previous year questions, UPSC asks a certain type of questions from Plato. Same goes for Machiavelli, same goes for Marx. For example, Machiavelli, they'll ask about statecraft, they'll ask about secularism, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to understand that you don't have to do PhD in each of these thinkers, but you have to understand the demand of the paper and you have to prepare these likewise. Okay, so this is a one, and apart from that, I believe it's a very interesting subject. I would suggest anyone to take political science. If you have any doubt, if you have not decided any other subject and you ask me, I'll say take political science. I've studied this subject for 3 years now, and I can get enough of it. Okay, there's no point of time when I'll feel that yeah, I don't want to study this. It happens for GS. I don't want to study geography. I don't want to study history all the time. But political science is a subject. Ki, even if I use YouTube, there are so many channels that I have subscribed that post videos on Aristotle, Plato, etc. Sleep classes is one of those. So if I come through a video on YouTube, I'll watch it because there is a genuine interest. And apart again, then there is international relations. I think everyone is interested in international relations, even those who are not pursuing UPSC. So if you get a chance to study this subject in such a depth, I think you should take it. So I
Right.
believe it's a great subject.
Right. So any strategy that you had. So, for example, when current affairs ki hum baat karte, especially when you look at international relations or you look at India's foreign policy or even the Indian government and politics part, there are a number of developments that happen. Was there any strategy or note-making method or the way that you collated information that would help you in the optional exam as well? I mean, you have to do that from a GS point of view, but how do you add that extra optional bit to ensure that even for the optional answers, you're getting all of that raw material ready?
Correct. So dynamism of the subject is certainly a challenge to everyone. And so, for example, IR is something that there are some new developments every day. So people get overwhelmed that, okay, how much? I mean, if we read newspaper daily, 4 articles, editorials daily, then we'll not be able to prepare any other subject. We'll be only able to do the optional. But I believe the dynamism has to be tackled in a very smart manner. And it is that, see, every current affairs question has a static base, right? And once you prepare that static base, you are done with it. The current part you have to update, and you have to just use the current facts. If I can use an example, there are so many developments with Russia in the past 1 year, right? So many that it's overwhelming. But you have to understand that the dynamics of India-Russia relations have been the same for past, I would say, 50 years. They haven't really changed. We are still dependent on Russia for our defense. We are still dependent on Russia for support in UN. And these factors have been constant. You just prepare this, and then how do you update with current affairs? For example, if the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is visiting India, you have to know, okay, he visited, and these are the 2-3 developments that have taken place. That's it. That's all the current affairs that you need to do. The dynamics of India-Russia relations are the same. You just have to update with 3 pointers as to what current development has taken place. So don't be overwhelmed by the newspaper articles. They'll come every day. Just know the static portion, just know the dynamics, and then update with the few facts that has happened in past 1 month. That's it.
Again, yes, absolutely. And I think that is very important कि आप examples की तरह से नई visits की तरह से क्या-क्या important चीजें डाल सकते हैं, because that's what happens with students, that they end up spending 4 hours of the newspaper itself and they forget the crucial part which has to be covered very importantly. Now, another very important part that optional से related होता है, which is actually the end goal of scoring marks, is how you write an answer in the optional, right? That is, at the end of the day, what the evaluator is going to read, and that is what is going to help you get marks as well, right? So that art and science of writing an answer, there will be questions that you will know very well. आपने अपने आप को तब संभालना है कि I have to stay in the word limit, I have to stay in the time limit, मुझे ऐसे नहीं लिखना है यहाँ पे. And then there will be questions that you have no idea about, right? There might be, say, 1 or 2. So you have to tackle those as well, कि छोड़ के नहीं आना है मुझे, right? So how did you prepare yourself for answer writing, understanding what a question is asking? How do I structure an answer? How do I complete an answer, right? So what were certain things that you ended up doing for that?
I think that's a very important question, because at the end of the day, what matters is what you have written in the examination. No one knows about your preparation, how many hours, how many days, how many years you have put in. All they know is your answer sheet, right? That is, you are being evaluated only based on that answer sheet. And about answer writing, I think it is an art that has to be developed. Okay, so one myth I need to say this. I have to say this to the aspirants, that do not think that someone has a natural flair for writing. They might have, but not for optional. No one knows from the beginning how to write an optional answer. I scored 154 marks in my GS1, I mean paper 1 last year. And if I look at the first uh, Western political thinker answer that I have written, I'd probably laugh at it. Okay, I'll be so embarrassed at it that, okay, what is this that I have written? So, but what is important is that I wrote that first answer. I knew that, okay, this is a very embarrassing answer. I knew that I have to improve on this. And after writing multiples of answers, multiples of tests, you do improve. So I need to tell everyone who is watching this that, you do not, no one has a natural flair for answer. Start writing. Okay. Once you are done with 1 or 2 proper readings of the subject, you have a proper understanding of the subject, start writing, start practicing answer. And about one question that you asked in the previous question, it was part of it and I missed it. How do you make your answer different from your GS answer, right? For example, paper 1 part B and paper 2 part B both have overlap with the GS, international relations and Indian polity. They have overlap with GS. How do you differentiate your answer with the optional answer? In that, I believe the interlinkage between paper 1A and 2A and 1B and 2B that you draw is what differentiates your answer. For example, if you a question on secularism is asked in your society paper, it's very different the way you approach that question. But if a question on secularism is asked in paper 1B, then it's very different, right? So in there, you have to write about what is secularism. You have to mention things like Machiavelli. You have to critique secularism. You have to talk about Indian secularism. You will mention Ashish Nandi, India's anti-secular manifesto, etc. You will not do this in the GS paper. So I believe this is how you differentiate your answers.
Right. Now, you also followed our initiatives. I have to ask about that, right? You followed both main today, and you were also a part of a political science and international relations crash course. What were certain inputs that you found that, these courses maybe helped you in your journey through mains? Because, a lot of times during our journey, pehle prelims dena hota hai, to sabko lagta hai, oh, prelims jaisi mushkil koi cheez nahi. Then you reach that mains part. And then you understand where the true difficulty lies, right? So how was it a help?
Correct. So I'm very grateful to the team of Sleepy Classes, okay? Because I come from a humble background. I couldn't just join every crash course available there, right? So I didn't join any test series in any of my years of preparation. I have not written any test series. And even for optional, I did not join any test series. But this year, CP Classes came up with an initiative of PSIR crash course, and I must congratulate you for this, and I must request you to please continue with it for all my future friends that are going to appear for this exam, and please make it more. I would say, make it better, make it more, bring in more topics and cover as much as you can, because it was a great initiative. And I'd tell my friends, yaar, Sleepy Classes ke liye kya hai, dekho, gazab hai. I have recommended it to many people that you are covering and you take the classes there.
Yes.
So I must congratulate you, ma'am. जो वीडियोस आती हैं बहुत अच्छी हैं आप एक शॉर्ट एंड ससिंक्ट में आई मीन इफ यू लुक एट दैट एंड you read, say, you covered liberalism as a topic, right? That was very comprehensive and a very short coverage. These are contradictory words, but this is what you require in UPSC. You have to be comprehensive as well as short. So वो एक वीडियो ऐसी थी जो मैं लोगों को बोल रहा था कि यार ये देखो, अगर obviously you cannot just come to the crash course. Crash course means that you have your background laid, right? So you must have understanding of liberalism. But the thing is, how do you consolidate everything? And that is what crash course does. And your crash course did that in a very, very well, very good way. So, and apart from that, I also watched the 2 minute series that you bring
Right.
out. And your last year there was this MAD initiative, Means a Day initiative.
Right.
So in that I watched a lot of videos, and they were certainly helpful in providing you with the content that you have to use in your examination.
Right.
So I must say thank you so much.
Thank you. That is wonderful. We will be getting those initiatives again post this prelims. Will you be giving these prelims?
Yeah, I might get IPS this time.
Right.
So I am thinking of appearing again.
Right. And also, I mean, you're young, right? You're very, very bright. So obviously make the best possible use. Again, what you have right now is no small achievement. It is massive, and also at such a young age. I'm sure your parents are so proud of you, and you keep making us proud, right? And Sleepy Classes is always here for any sort of help, any sort of support for you or for any other aspirant for that matter. And best of luck for your future journey. I hope we see you in the top 10 next year, right? That I'm not going to say top 100, top 10. I would have said top 5, but I'll make do with top 10 as well, right?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, all the best, and hope to talk to you soon again.